And let's see. Oh, it's time. So I'll start letting everybody in. Did I get everybody? Oh,
Yeah, I think going forward, we can just start it when we open it if we're not going to be on Facebook Live.
yeah.
Hey, Darlene. Liza's here. I was just thinking of Liza. Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to see you, Kelly. I haven't seen you in forever.
I know the daytime one's been hard. It's summer.
I know it's summer. Oh my God. I'm out there sunbathing. Oh my God.
That's all I can do right now. Just hang it out.
How's your
See
knee?
you guys.
How's your knee, Kelly? How's your knee?
I'm down to one crutch.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then next week go back to the clinic, orthopedic clinic, and see if I can get completely off. So I'm doing a little walking, but not a lot.
Yeah. Stay off it. You let it heal.
I know. It's like,
absolutely.
Sucks to get old. Hey, Liza. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning. I was just thinking about you because I was, for my level 3 class, I was doing business resources for them. And because we have 1 week dedicated to learning apps and things like that. And
cool.
I was like, oh my gosh, I have Liza. How's her website? I need to go check it out.
I haven't changed anything. Oh my
That's
God, I'm so
okay.
busy. But I would love to chat at some point with you. And, we can just just on the phone or whatever about some other things business-wise.
Absolutely. I can even send you the little resource thing that I made for my level 3.
Okay. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
I'll send it to you today.
Thank you.
And so, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, I am the busiest I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm just trying to figure out how to manage my time. I'm not super savvy. And I'm trying to change that message about myself that, yes, I am. And I can figure this out and it's all going to be fine.
Yes.
I've just been feeling really overwhelmed and not sure how to progress.
Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship. But there are lots of things we can tell you to do about that. And I'm happy to have a call. We're also going to do a full moon meditation at the end of it. And this sturgeon full moon is a beautiful moon for us to release any negativity and release what's not working. So we will be doing that.
Awesome.
So welcome. Stephanie is with us. And I don't know if Stephanie wants to come on and say hi or show us, but no problem if you don't, Stephanie.
Yep. You might be working or driving. We don't know. That's okay. We're just glad you're here. And Darlene, always nice to see you. Thank you for coming on.
Darlene's got a new puppy. Maybe she'll show us her little guy.
Oh, we have someone else coming in.
Oh, so adorbs. Oh my gosh. That's too much cuteness.
That's cuteness, definitely.
And Mary Lynn's joining us. Wonderful.
Yes.
So we should get started. We have a lot to cover today.
We do.
Hi, Mary Lynn.
Hi, Mary Lynn.
Hi everybody. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Lee. Kelly. Oh, Kelly.
Kelly. I know. We're so excited to have Kelly with us.
Yes.
Hi. And Darlene. Hello. And Lisa. Hi. And Stephanie. Hi.
All
Where are you,
right.
sweetie pie?
And Bodie.
And Bodie. That's right.
And sweet pie, my cat's here.
Oh, nice. Love it when the animals join us.
Excellent.
Oh, and who's the dog, Darlene? Oh,
That's Bodie.
That's Bodie. Oh, Mel's entered.
oh,
the
Bodie.
room, so-
Oh, and I thought Kelly had Bodie.
No.
Nope.
Kelly's got cats. So we should get started though,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Jamie,
we should. So
we could talk all day about this. So
I
let's
know we
go
can.
to our
We can get
topic.
talking about our animals. Our topic, yes. How to deal with strong emotions as an animal Reiki practitioner. And, we are so blessed that we have our animal Reiki practice because strong emotions happen to everyone. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's because we're working with abused or rescued animals, or if we're at our job and somebody makes us angry, or, something happens there, or something happens in the family. emotions can be strong. We're emotional beings, and they can be strong, and they will affect us even as if we are animal Reiki practitioners. And I'm going to go ahead and share the Thich Nhat Hanh quote, because I think it just really sums up what we do as animal Reiki practitioners. He was quoted as saying, breathing calms down the body and emotions. It ignites the insight inside of us. Insight is not something that comes later on. As soon as you have mindfulness, concentration and insight are already there. If you continue, concentration will be deeper and insight will be brighter. With this energy, you can deal with whatever pain is happening in your body and generate joy and happiness. So really, what we know is that our breath anchors us, grounds us, and it helps us deal with those strong emotions. Right, Leah?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, as we talked about, it's easy to get caught up in strong emotions. I know we're animal Reiki practitioners. We have our program, we're Zen, but not all the time. We're still emotional beings, right? And so where do these strong emotions come from? Well, for a lot of us, if you're involved in animal rescue, and I think we've all seen it, we've seen strong emotions. All you have to do is go on Facebook to an animal rescue group, and you're going to see strong emotions. People who they hear the story of an animal who's been abused or neglected, and they just rage, right? There's so much anger, and it's really strong emotions, which aren't helping the animal at all when we come from that strong emotional place. And then, so we have to really learn to breathe. If we're going to help the animal, we can't focus on what their story may have been, or if they were abused, if they were neglected. That can't be where we put our focus at all. We have to focus on the perfection in them and the love that they feel for life and the love that we feel for them. That makes a huge difference. And do you have anything to add on that one, Leah?
No, go right ahead.
Okay. And so I just hear some noise, so I'm trying to quiet, or if you can mute yourself, there's something going on. Appreciate it.
I don't hear anything.
Okay. It just comes once in a while, but I think we're okay now. So where else can strong emotions come from? Well, sometimes they can come from judgments that other people make on us, whether it's about our Reiki practice, because maybe they don't agree with what we're teaching and what we're practicing. Maybe they learn something different. Some people can be very judgmental about that, and they don't accept the differences in the different lineages and the different methods that are out there. And, that can really stir up strong emotions. And I'm sure we've all heard that, had people who get really upset if your beliefs are a little bit different than what theirs are. Or, another great area, and I see this all the time, is over food choices and lifestyle. I belong to I am plant-based, and I belong to a lot of the vegan groups, and some of my vegan friends are wonderful and understanding, and they want to meet people where they are. And others are very judgmental. And then I have other friends who you say the word vegan and they immediately start judging and get mad. As a matter of fact, one of my, the sanctuaries that I go to, sometimes she'll start in about, oh, those vegan people. Then she'll look at me, she'll say, oh, I forget, you're one of them, but you just don't seem like it. And it's like, well, that's because you just get to know me, because you've gotten to know me. So, all these things in our life can really bring up strong emotions. Maybe you're upset because you're not making any money in your animal Reiki business, and that's bringing strong emotions up for you. And, just problems in your personal life, whether it's finances or relationships, all of those things can bring up a lot of strong emotions that can, get the best of us if we allow it. But we're so fortunate that we have this practice because we know we can go back to the breath. We can go back to the precepts and just recite. I mean, even if you're at work and you're upset and you can feel it coming, because we can feel emotions happening. We can feel they're like a storm. Like when you go out and you're like, oh, feels like there's going to be a storm coming or it's going to rain. And we just have that feeling. Most of the time, those strong emotions are the same way. And it's like we can feel them coming on. So rather than just ignore it and let it build up and then we pop, turn to the Reiki precepts. Start quietly just repeating them to yourself. Focus on your breath. Those are things that can help us, because we do know, if we're honest about it, most of the time we recognize that there's a storm brewing in us too, and those strong emotions. Somebody has said something and we can tell it's triggered something. And so at that point we have a choice. But if we turn to our animal Reiki practice and our self practice, most likely we're not going to get lost in that storm. And we'll be able to. Thank you for letting Susan in, Leah. So does anybody have any other places where strong emotions come from them? That they want?
I would just ask, raise your hand, use the little emoji to raise your hand, and let's keep our comments to about, just a couple minutes, because we do have a lot to cover today and we want everyone to get a chance to speak.
Absolutely. So if you have some example of a short, example of a strong emotion that you'd like to share, Kelly does. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Kelly, and share with us.
Hey, everyone. One of the things that I've experienced is that if I'm not working on myself and resolving things that are inside, pretty deep in there, precepts, then when I'm in front, those are shown to me some other way, then that really will help give me strong emotion. So usually it's because I haven't dealt with something that is really I've internalized. And I was thinking recently, because Mary Lynn and I were talking about this Sunday at the shelter. I was telling her about Rupert, who passed away at the Little Red Barn Farm.
Oh,
and I really, really love this little guy. And I know for me, like, the emotion that comes up is fear. Like, I don't want to deal with grief right now, because it's sad. And so when we're, that one was harder for me than some of the others that have passed. And so just being able to find out a way to just face it head on, but know that, like that, somebody passing, an animal passing that we love or we're really connected to, brings up like impending death, right? The death of our loved ones, the death of our own animals, and there's all of that comes up. So for me, that kind of really hit a nerve, because I was attached to that little guy, and had just seen him the weekend before to give him some Reiki and support him, and so it does sort of put that in our face, like, there it is, it's going to happen to somebody else. And so for me, that's kind of a way that emotions come up, things that I'm fearful about the future, or that something's showing me, you got to do more work on this particular thing, girl.
Yeah, grief is a strong one, because it happens more than we like, and it's really hard to deal with. I'm really sorry that Rupert passed. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would make it. Yeah, I mean, I know for me, I don't deal with grief very well. I'm really horrible when it comes to death. So yeah, that's a big one. And that's why the precepts really help us a lot in that. I'm so glad you shared that.
Yeah. Thank you, Kelly. Liza, I see you have your hand up.
Still learn how to do all this. I finally figured out how to raise my hand. Yeah, when we first got on the call and I told you that I'm overwhelmed, it's not just, so I have I'm trying to launch my Reiki business. I am learning music lessons, coaching music lessons, recording my own stuff. I still work part-time at my bar job. I'm apprenticing under someone, learning to do lapidary and metalsmithing. I just have so many irons in the fire. So let me bring it back though, for where I'm having triggers and stuff coming up right now is in my music stuff. I had a relationship, just a friendship with the person that I'm working with prior to ever starting to take lessons. So years I've known this person, and all of a sudden the dynamics have changed between us, because now, one, he's my boss for coaching stuff. Two, he's the expert when it comes to recording stuff because I'm very new to this. And I'm noticing that the things he's saying sometimes and the way he approaches me, I'm taking things personally and I'm like getting really upset. And it's has to do with a lot of different things, right? Because I'm so busy and because I'm new to a lot of this stuff. And as adults, it's harder to learn new stuff sometimes. And I like have been close to like breaking down and I'm like, what is going on? And so I've spent the last couple of days. Yesterday, I chanted the precepts in Japanese and I just really sat down with that. And I started journaling yesterday. And then I got up again today and meditated and was journaling again. And I was really able to start to like dig deep. Okay, well, where did that come from? Initially, I learned this tool a long time ago. Okay, so how does that feel? Where are you feeling that in your body right now? When did you feel like that before? And then you dig deeper and you go, when did you feel like that before that? And like, so digging back to like, maybe did it come from childhood, or something like that. But definitely like chanting the precepts for me is one of my favorite things and one of my most effective ways to really get into that space. But yeah, I was super grateful when I saw what the topic was today. I'm like, you guys are perfect every time.
I love that so much because that's like, when we say things, speaking our truth to other people, when we say it through the veil of the precepts, then we can really like kind of identify that we're the ones that are having the issue. It isn't the other person. It's how we're perceiving what they're saying to us or what they're doing, and our own insecurities start to come up. So I love that you chanted the precepts.
Yeah. Definitely. That was in my journaling. It's all about what I've got going on for me. It's definitely not about somebody else, but we it's really easy to quickly as a human, go to the victim mode or like, oh my gosh, and blame somebody else. But yeah, those precepts are great for bringing that shit all back.
Absolutely.
Yes, Mary Lynn. Yeah, thank you, Liza.
A question. Once you realize, because Lisa got me to thinking, once you realize where the anger came from, the situation, then what? And what do you do?
Liza, do you want to share what you do? I mean, I know you said you journal and you ask, where did this come from? And you go back, but is there anything else that you do?
Once you realize the cause, what do you do then?
So here's one of the things I learned when I learned this process of like drilling down and going back is, so it's like, what is that belief that you have about yourself? And then trying to come up with a new belief, something that's better. And then I write that down, and I haven't totally gotten there with this. I'm close. I've got some really good ideas about where all this stuff is coming from. But then, yeah, writing down a new belief for you that honors and serves you where you're at today. And then just, looking at that every day and saying that aloud to yourself. That's something that's worked for me.
Yeah. Thank you. It makes,
yeah, of
that
course.
makes sense.
Thanks for asking.
I love that. And also, going into that meditative space where you can kind of balance yourself so you're not in that state of anger or worry or fear. And now, you've done your breathing. So now you can go, okay, where is this coming from? And if you feel yourself starting to get that anxiousness, that, oh, I'm gripping onto this. No, this is what they did to me. Just going, okay, no, you're safe. Everything's fine. Where is this coming from? And going into that I always feel like that's really helpful too. And of course, journaling, when you just write and start writing what's coming up for you, you can really see it's not the other person, it's you and your ego, right? Our ego. It's always out there to get us.
Mhm. And Kelly put something in the chat. Brian Katie wrote that she says, ask, is this true?
Right. I was going to ask about Katie Byron if you had done that, Liza, if that was where you were getting that from, because I was just reading something about that process. She does something very similar.
I don't know where it came from originally. I studied under a shaman years ago, and that was a process that we used when we were trying to work through stuff.
Wonderful.
I think the book is Loving What Is.
Yeah.
Cool.
On my shelf back there. Covered in dust.
And, I think it points out that we are works in progress, and we have to find what helps us get quiet. I know for me, like when I'm out in nature, I tend to forget about everything, and then thoughts can come. And I can see maybe I can see what some of the problem is, or, things are when I'm not so wrapped up trying to fix things, or I'm just present in the moment in nature. A lot of times answers come to me that way.
Does anyone else? And if you don't know how to use the hand emoji, just raise your hand. Oh, Susan. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, apologies for being late. We've had an unexpected thunderstorm here with a ton of rain, but I had to pull the plug on my computer for a few minutes. Anyway, it is interesting. I mean, I have all these same things. The anger comes up, or the reluctance is mostly, I don't want to hear that, or whatever.
Yeah.
And what I have found is, yes, going into that meditative state, but asking myself, okay, even if it sounds corny, even if it's made up, is saying, the wonderful expression we've all learned in your classes is all is well. And I need to define what wellness is. And this is on the spur of the moment. So it's not supposed to be finished and tidy. But I need to discover how I can turn this around, if not for the other person, for me. I have to say, over the many years being an elder, I have tried off and on to meditate, and it's never really taken very well. But this has changed it, because there's intent in there, and that to me is a huge obstacle that's been overcome. But anyway, it's asking myself, how can I turn this situation around? And yeah, it is corny, and it's not, it may sound artificial, but you make it, what do you do? You do it till you make it, or whatever that saying was.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. Yeah.
Fake it till you make it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my answer.
I love that. I love that so much, because that it is true. It's the intention, right? When we go into this meditative state, that all is well. And in that, with that intention, then things can come through, right? We feel safe, all is well. Now we can start letting go and healing things.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, Susan. I love that.
That's wonderful. Absolutely.
I love how she said, doesn't have to be all neat and tidy, right? Does it? It can be messy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Things are messy usually.
They are.
Yeah. We appreciate everybody sharing. Does anybody have anything else real quick, or we can just move on if we've covered that area? So the next thing that Thich Nhat Hanh, another quote, but he was talking about suffering and happiness, and having suffering as something necessary for happiness. So you can't have a top without a bottom. We've all heard that, or an in without an out. A garden, it takes sun and water and compost. And what is compost made out of? It's garbage that has been allowed to rot and decay. And so his saying was that strong emotions that we feel are the suffering needed to create joy and happiness. Now, I've always, when I hear suffering, I kind of go, that's something, it's always like, oh, that one just doesn't sit well with me. But because I've always believed that we're in life and there's going to be pain, we are going to experience pain. But suffering, I believe, is optional. We can choose if we're going to suffer from this pain, or if we're going to be, I'm in pain, this really hurts, I don't like it a bit, what's the lesson? So the suffering to me makes us, and this is just me because I know lots of people don't feel this way, if you're suffering, you're almost in the victim mode and you're caught up in this pain and you're trapped by it, and it's like you can't do anything about it. Well, things happen in our life that are very painful. I'm not denying that. There's lots of things that hurt us in this world, but that's pain. It doesn't have to be suffering. And again, as Animal Reiki practitioners, we have this incredible program that can help us. So we don't have to suffer, get caught in that suffering, but we can look at the pain, address it, thank it for coming into our lives, learn, ask what the lesson is. And, I think we will be free from it. If we stay in the suffering, it's really hard to get free of that. And that's just my thought. So I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks, or Leah, what you think about that.
Yeah, I think that it's like also the wheel of fortune, you're always like, you're going to have good times and they're going to come around. But it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go, oh, I'm in a good time, now it's going to be years of a bad time. It doesn't have to be like that. It's, a lot of times when we have a problem or an issue that causes us pain, we can, through our meditation practice, through this practice, see the solution within the problem. And the more you meditate, the more you are in this practice, the faster you can see that solution. But that's not necessarily true. Like, let's say you lose a child or you lose an animal. That pain is really deep. And there is no solution other than trying to help yourself let go of the pain and see the joy. Because we look at death as very final, like, oh, they're leaving. And really it's about us, right? The pain we're feeling, it's not about them leaving, it's about us. It's like, oh, this makes me sad, this makes me. When the reality is more than likely on the other side, it's a beautiful place and they've been released. And so if we can then kind of transmute that suffering into a more joyous, gratitude kind of feeling. But that's hard. I mean, it's easy to say. And I would hate, for anyone who's lost a beloved family member, like a pet or a relation, it's very hard to get out of that suffering, but really through our practice, seeing that there's something beyond this, that there's something biggest, and always remembering that we're all one, right? We're one with everything. We're one with our problems, but we're one with the solution. We're one with people who are here. We're one with people that have passed. We're in that space of oneness. And I think that for me, that's what always kind of helps me get above the pain, is there is oneness, where this isn't all the end. This is actually just a part of our human experience. So Kelly, I don't want to take up too much time here. Kelly?
Just kind of made me remember that, the one thing for me that's helpful is acceptance. And, when I found out I had to be on crutches for like a good part of my summer, I was really pissed off. And it didn't really leave until I was able to just, sit down and say, well, this is what's happening. There's nothing I can do about it. I have to do this. And I've got to, and now I've got to accept it and move on. And that acceptance, even especially like as Leah was saying with grief, that acceptance takes a long time to get to, but you kind of have glimmers of it here and there, glimpses of it. And oftentimes you do see that there's also a beauty that comes out of whatever you're grieving, or the process of grieving. But for me, acceptance is a huge part of and even just accepting, yeah, I'm pissed off today. That's where I'm at. And just being like, there it is. And naming it, right?
Well, I also like your example, because things happen for us, not to us, right? So if we look at your situation, you love to ski. You're not on your crutches during ski season. You're on your crutches during the summer. So, you never know what could be happening. Could be the universe conspiring to get you back out there on those slopes, however that looks. Instead of, it's summertime. This is something that happened, and we're all getting older and our knees aren't as strong as they could be. So, sometimes with these things, I mean, obviously death, that's hard to see. This is happening for me, not to me. But a lot of times in passing, what's happening for you is building up your own inner strength, is building up that resilience, is building up that acceptance that this is part of life. This is the circle of life, right? There is birth, there is death, there's birth, there's death. It's a constant cycle. So yeah, I love that acceptance.
Yes.
Saying is that all points on the wheel are sacred.
Exactly, no matter what it is. And I also love how you said, like, it's okay to be angry. Like, we sometimes beat ourselves up when we're experiencing negative emotions, and instead we could deal with it in less time if we say, you know what, I'm just going to feel angry about this for a minute. I'm just going to feel and forgive ourselves and know that that's okay. We don't have to be perfect. Life isn't about being perfect. It's about learning and growing. And then sometimes when you're really mad and throwing a fit, you realize, oh, I don't even have the energy for this. I've done that before. I'm really mad. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be really mad. I'm allowing it. And then I'm like, okay, I don't even have the energy for this.
Tired of hearing myself. That's true though. If you can identify it and name it, then it's easier to move through. But if we just keep avoiding, like, oh, I'm a spiritual practitioner, I should know better, I shouldn't get angry, I have Reiki, whatever it is, a lot of times we can fall into that trap. But when we can really look at, well, yeah, everybody's human. We're all human, regardless of whether we have Reiki or not. And it's just part of being human. Precepts again on that one.
Yeah.
Right. All roads lead to the
That's it. That's it.
I love that, because it is true. I think sometimes, we think because we've studied Reiki and, we're practitioners or whatever, that we're not allowed to be human and have these emotions. Oh, well, do not anger. So we're not supposed to get angry ever. And we just know that isn't true, and so we can not beat up on ourselves quite so much and just recognize that, oh, yeah, today I'm pretty angry, or, oh, I'm worried about this. And, oh, I didn't handle that situation very well, did I? Yeah. And just accepting our humanness, I think is, really important.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just butt in for a second. That also, Janine, comes to closure with the precepts of just today, I will not be angry, I will not worry. But it doesn't mean you have to lock yourself in a cage to not be angry. It just means I will accept it and let it go. I've struggled with those first two lines a lot. And my resolution for it is, okay, fine, you've been here, you've had your say. Now, if you don't mind, beat it, because I want to get on with my day. So.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
I love that too. Oh my gosh, that is perfect.
Yeah.
Mary Lynn, you had
What said, I agree, because I do.
Oh, Mary Lynn, Mary Lynn, you're breaking up a little bit. You might want to turn your video off.
Yeah, that might help.
Your audio. Oh, she froze.
She froze. Maybe we can get back to her. And yeah.
So let's go on to the next
We'll
thing.
go on to the next one, and hopefully she'll come back in. And is she the one saying there was storms? Who had storms? No, Susan had storms.
Yeah.
And I'm envious of your rain, but that's another story. So so we know that these strong emotions are part of the human experience. We know they're going to come. We know we have a choice on how we're going to react to them.
Mhm.
You know, there's some tools out there to help us deal with them. But what are those? How do we control these strong emotions? How do we let them not get the best of us? And again, like I said, most of the time we feel these emotions coming unless it's something sudden and tragic that, you know, happens all of a sudden. And so we have to be really tuned into ourself. You know, and I think that's why it's so important, our self practice. I mean, I just can never say that enough. Just because you understand and learn about Reiki, and you've been, you know, you want to go out and work with animals, but the most important thing you can do is work on yourself, because you have to be in tune to recognize when you're off balance. So you have to get in balance, and then you're like, when things, strong emotions come and upset you, you recognize that.
Mhm.
And I see we got Mary Lynn back. You're muted, but if you might want to turn your camera off, and then a lot of times that takes less bandwidth so we can hear what you had to say. Now
I
we can
don't
hear.
know. Yeah, I don't know how to turn a camera off. Where do
Okay,
I?
that's,
Oh, no, you sound fine.
you sound
I
fine
sound-
now, so that's
Oh,
good.
okay. I'm going to move downstairs. Yes, so suffering to me and it has a connection to what Susan was saying, is has a time frame, can have a time frame, meaning we can choose, and this is something I do, to say, okay, I'm going to let myself dwell on this situation that I'm angry about or I'm worried about for, the next 15 minutes. And then I'm going to move on, stop. And we'll see how I feel. And if I need to do it again later that day, then I will. But it's knowing myself and the self discipline to give it a time frame, to give the emotion and what I'm spending, the time I'm spending on it, a limit. So
Yeah, that's
I love
really
that.
good.
that's how I cope. Yeah.
Giving yourself a limit is good so that you don't go down a rabbit hole, like with social media, right? Giving yourself a finite amount of time so that you can then let it go. And I think by giving yourself a finite amount of time too, you're like setting a boundary. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah.
you're preserving yourself, right? You're saying, look, I'm not going to just wallow for days. I'm going to allow myself this treat and then let it go. I love that.
I do too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kelly likes that too. She put that in the
Thank
comments.
you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's-
I just had something real quick. If you detect when you're in conversation with someone and they're holding a grudge or something, or you feel an emotion from them that I don't want it, whatever you're angry about or passive aggressive about, and you're not sharing it with me. But so that's something else that I've learned over time, is to stop in my head, stop, and sometimes even say, hey, to the other person, is something going on with you? How are you feeling upset, angry, frustrated? and see where it goes.
Yeah, acknowledging that's always good, because people sometimes when they're really angry or they're upset or they're not sharing, even when they are sharing, they just want to be heard, and seen. And you don't have to agree with them, but you can say, I see you, I hear you, and I understand.
Yes, but sometimes it could be an attack. And that's what I'm saying is like, hey,
in an attack, people attack because they're fearful, they're scared. And again, it goes back to not feeling heard, not feeling seen, feeling less than. So even if they're attacking, you can say, and this usually diffuses the situation. This just happened with my sister on Sunday. She was screaming at me, and I just let her scream. And then I said, I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. And let's try and move forward. I didn't agree with her. I didn't have to agree with her, but it was important for her to get out what she had to say, because she was angry. And that was her way of letting it go, right? To like, okay, do I understand? Yes, I understand. I don't have to agree. I didn't agree, but I understood. I understand your frustration. I can see why you feel that way. I'm sure this must be really hard for you right now. There's things we can say to the person, and it diffused everything. She lost her anger because now you're not giving that person something to bounce against. Now you're open. So you're open and you're peaceful and you're saying, I see you. And that's really what people want. It's where all this anger comes from, and it's just like us, when we feel really angry, what do we want? We want whoever we're sharing our anger with to say, I see you, I hear you, I understand, I can see why you would feel that way, validating why we're feeling that way. And that's really the biggest gift we can give to others too. Because sometimes we want to take it on, right? We want to be like, oh my God, you're attacking me. You're saying this to me, oh, I'm, no, it has nothing to do with, you. It has to do with, I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling not seen or heard.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And I think sometimes, not to take it personally, if they, if you ask them, is something wrong, and they just shut down and say no, because that's what I tend to do if I'm angry. No, I need to go. I need to be by myself. I need to be away from people. I need to be away from you. And I need to work through this and figure it out before I can even talk to you. So everybody's going to react a little bit differently. And I just think if you ask with kindness and love, hey, is everything okay? And then whatever they choose, just like with the animals, right? Whatever they choose, we're okay with.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, because it's not on your time, it's on their time. Yep. It's not how you feel, it's how they feel, because it has nothing to do with you. Even when they're attacking you, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their frustration. I don't know, Kelly, if you want to say something about that.
I just was thinking about the 4 agreements. Nothing's personal, right? Everybody's got their own stuff that they're bringing to the table. And I love what Leah said about, just like letting them know they're seen. I mean, that's the easiest way to diffuse something that I've just also found, is that, just adding to that fuel to that fire isn't going to help anything, but even just walking away when it's important.
Mary Lynn, what is it about sisters? I do not know, Mary Lynn, but everyone's got their sister problems. I'm sure my sister complains about me. My brother probably complains about me. I'm the bossy one. I'm the oldest one. So they have lots to complain about. And I'm the easy target, She's bossy.
True. What is it about sisters? Yeah. And I like that Kelly said, wallowing can be addictive. And isn't that true? Sometimes when something happens to us and we get upset or we're angry, and maybe it's, somebody does something wrong, and then there's times when you want to tell everybody and you want them to get angry too, or like the gossip, and and wallowing, it can be addictive, can it? We can just for some reason it makes us feel good.
Again, wallowing is, we haven't been validated. we haven't found the strength to either confront the person or talk to the person about what we're feeling. I know I'm guilty of that. If I have a problem with someone, I'll talk about it, but then I won't go to that person and say, this is a problem between us. Or this is not a problem between us. This is how I'm feeling right now. Because sometimes when you tell people how you're feeling, they want to say, well, I don't know why you're feeling like that, because, and so you're scared of that not being validated. Right. And so that wallowing, it feels like, oh, this is necessary. I just want to hear, but you hear it from everybody else that you're right. You just aren't hearing it from the person, and you may never hear it from that person, because everybody has a right to feel the way they do. I have a right to feel the way I do. That person has a right to feel the way they do. And sometimes we just have to let it go and just find common ground. And that's hard to do, though, letting go. In our mind, it's hard to do. It's actually the easiest thing to do, because you think of a problem in your hand, like a pencil, and letting go, you just drop it, right? It's so easy to let things go, but we have an attachment to it.
Oh, that attachment.
And it's like
it's
gripping this, can't let go of it if you're gripping to it.
Yes, and that was another thing Thich Nhat Hanh said, that the miracle, and I'm not getting this right, but the true miracle of life is not walking on water, but walking peacefully among this earth. And how true is that? Because we're emotional beings, we live in this three-dimensional world full of senses, full of people who have their emotions. And it's really like it's a beautiful place, and a beautiful place to learn and grow and stretch our souls, but it can drive us crazy too.
Yeah, Mary Lynn asked, isn't it important to act responsibly with our emotions? Yeah, we do. I mean, and that's why, you see people not acting responsibly. They just blurt out anything. They react in anger. They don't have any type of responsibility for their emotions or any control of their emotions. And that's also a dangerous place, right? And you can imagine how they must feel. They must feel kind of out of control, like they have no control, because they're not trying to implement control.
Or they make excuses, like, the people who are always like, well, I'm just brutally honest. Okay, well, but we run into that a lot where, we're justifying or making excuses for our emotions. But it is important, especially for us, I think, as animal Reiki practitioners, not that we have to be perfect, but we do have to act responsibly and hold ourselves to a standard. I used to work in law enforcement, and our chief, every day, he told us that, you are held to a higher standard. And he would tell us that every day. Remember, you are held to a higher standard. Not that we were better, but that he expected more of us even, and that he knew we would not always reach that, but he wanted to remind us every day that you are a representation, and the people see you. People are watching you. And I think that's one thing, that we forget, especially like on Facebook. Oh my gosh, when the Supreme Court made their decisions, no matter how you feel, there was a lot of really angry people, and there was people fighting. And there was one of the guys I know, he had made his comments and people were attacking him. And I just sent him a comment and I said, I really appreciate that you don't have a fight in this game per se. And I appreciate that you said this. And he said, I just was in bed thinking, oh, I got caught up in this again. And why did I do that? And he said, but I forget there's people like you watching me. And so that's so true with our life, right? We can get, oh, why do I bother? Or why am I caught up in this? Because there's people watching us. And whether it's because we're animal Reiki practitioners, whether it's because we're a grandma, whether it's because whatever reason, our behavior, we do have to behave responsibly. We have to take our emotions responsibly. because people are watching, and we are an example, whether we think we are or not.
Absolutely.
We might just do one thing that somebody goes, oh, I needed to see someone do that today. Or it's like, it's okay for me to feel the way I do because I just saw what she did.
Well, if that is the end, I know we're coming to 20, and I'm kind of excited because I want us to have time to do this full moon meditation
Yes.
for a couple reasons. So it's the sturgeon full moon, and it's a super moon. And the sturgeon full moon is about perseverance of spirit, which is really in alignment with what we're talking about today. And also, I don't know if you all know that full moon, the power of the full moon, the more connected you are to the full moon, the more open your heart chakra is. So your heart center is open. So when we connect to that full moon and we open up our heart, guess what happens? We let go of negativity. We let go of all that we're holding on to. So I think that this is a really important full moon coming up. It's not tonight, it's tomorrow, but it looks almost full tonight. So I hope that, when we do this full moon meditation, really just focus on letting go of what's making your heart heavy, whether it's relationships or negative thoughts or negative situations, knowing that all is well. Because when we hang on to these negative things, we're hanging on to the past, right? This happened. We're not looking towards the future. And the future really is all we have. The past is already gone. It's already done. So just stepping into the future through the power of the full moon and feeling strong, feeling grounded, feeling peaceful and loving. And that will really set a great stage for us to finish out the rest of the year, right? We step into these full moons. So let's get comfortable and let's go into Gasho and let's set our intention that we're open to receive whatever it is we need most at this moment in time, and that we're open to letting go of what no longer serves us. And since we're creating this beautiful healing circle with all of us together, let us just take a moment and bring to mind any people, any animals or situations that need extra support. And we will put them into the circle. Always remembering that if you think of someone or some being during the meditation, just put them in and know that they will receive the full benefit. And whenever you're ready, you can put your hands face up or face down in your lap. And we're just going to take some nice cleansing breaths, breathing in gently through our nose, pulling that breath down to our belly, to our hara. Hold for a moment and then gently release that breath out your nose slowly, feeling all tension and stress leave with your breath. Just do a couple more of those. Breathing in the cleansing, invigorating breath, oxygen, and on the out breath, you're releasing the tension, the stress, any tightness in your neck or your shoulders or your jaw. They all start to dissipate. Breathing in life and breathing out stress. So I'd like you to envision yourself standing in a meadow at the beginning of a path. It is nighttime, but it is light out because there is a beautiful full moon right above you. This full moon lights your path forward. You start following the path, feeling safe, feeling excited, and feeling joyful, knowing that there is something wonderful at the end of this path. The air you're breathing in is refreshing, crisp. It invigorates you. As you walk forward, you start to feel all tension leaving your body. Your heart starts to feel lighter, more joyful. You come over a little knoll and you look down, and there's a beautiful lake. And being mirrored in the lake is the full moon. The full moon is so big, it encompasses the entire lake in its reflection. As you walk down, you come to the very edge of the lake. You're barefoot, So you dip your toes in. The water is cool and refreshing. It's not shockingly cold. It feels invigorating. You step a little further into the lake, your feet submerged. The feeling of being grounded and having that cool water at your feet starts to go up into your stomach and into your heart and out the crown of your head. You feel this light, this beautiful beam of energy from the moon coming through the water, through your feet and up and out through your crown. The feeling is so incredible. You feel joyful, happy, peace all at once. You start to step further into the lake. Now you're up to your knees and you dip your hands in and you take a drink of this beautiful, cool water. It invigorates you. You go deeper into the water until you start to submerge yourself. And as you submerge yourself, you feel yourself releasing all negative thoughts. You slowly come up and stand in the water. You feel all negativity leaving your body, all anger, all worry. It starts to float away. As the water drips off your body, so does all of the negativity that you've been holding on within you. You start to see tension and difficult relationships with peace and love. You start seeing problems that were difficult to resolve as completely and fully and lovingly resolved. In this space of the full moon, all you feel is peace and joy and love. Your heart feels so light, your body feels light, yet you feel grounded and strong. Just take a moment and just sink into this beautiful feeling of love and joy and peace. Bring to mind people or situations that are causing you angst and see them with love. And feel that love being mirrored back to you. As you stand in this water, feel immense joy, immense peace, an overwhelmingly feeling of love. As you stand in the reflection of the moon, you reflect back to the moon your own beautiful light. Cup your hands and take another drink of the lake. Feel that water filling you with the strength of love and joy and peace, knowing that this is a part of you. This is your true self. And you can slowly start to come out of the lake. Stand at the edge and look out around you and see all sorts of animals and people who support you and love you, standing around the lake, supporting you and mirroring back love and joy and peace. This beautiful sensation within you is within all of us. And when we see others with peace and love and joy, they mirror that back to us. Bring your hands into Gasho and give thanks to the moon and to yourself for participating in this. And keep this beautiful feeling of love within you. Love is so strong. Anger weakens us, but love strengthens us. We can face anything when we know we have love within us. Whenever you're ready, you can slowly bring yourself back. And maybe rub your hands and bring yourself into the room. I love seeing the lake with a full moon because there's nothing more beautiful than that reflection on water. I'm so blessed that I live by the river and I get to see that. And so it's just so wonderful.
Thank you, Leah. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much for
Lovely.
participating.
And thank you everyone for being here, and Kelly and Darlene and Liza and Mary Lynn and Susan. We really appreciate you.
I appreciate all the contributions and for
Yes.
the sharing, because it helps us all grow. We're all living this very human experience. And so it's not
Yes, we are.
for it.
Mhm. Good. See you next week.
All right. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome office hours, guys.
Next week is open Q&A. So
Yeah.
just come with your
Oh, yeah.
questions and we will all share
Wherever you wanna go.
experiences. And yes. Mwah. Have a wonderful
Bye,
week.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.